it's actually okay to just sit in a bit of weakness. And that's not a weakness in and of itself. Like, that's actually a strength to be able to sit in our sadness and be okay.
Get through sadness by helping other people who are sad. Anything that I'm going through that I want to make it out of, I need to get with like-minded individuals. Not in the sense of, iron sharpening iron. In the sense of, if I really, want to get out this poverty, I need to help others who are suffering from poverty. Real simple mindset I have.
That's a great question. I first tend to eat it away. I tend to watch TV shows that are sad or read books that are sad so that I'm focused on somebody else's sadness before mine. Those are my unhealthy coping mechanisms. My healthier ones are to read through Psalms where like David is like lamenting something or super grieving, and like sometimes like what I would imagine David almost like cussing out the Lord and like being super angry at him. I tend to go to those and just like recognize that somebody else struggled with it as well, and that helps me deal with it.
All right, music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Human connection, calling a friend. I've struggled with that stuff. I'm bipolar, and took me a long time to admit that. And once I did, I was able to heal much quicker because I was conscious of the fact that I was hurting and that I needed help.
A lot of self-reflecting, I would say. I probably just kind of talk out into the universe is just what I call it. I don't like to personify my beliefs necessarily, but I do believe in that there's a natural flow and there's some sort of power out there keeping an eye on us. And just kind of speak to it. Yeah.
For me, I process things really intensely but really quickly. So if I'm feeling depressed or down, I usually take a day and I go through that emotion. It's pretty intense. I'll like spend the day like in bed or not, talking to a few people, and just sort of remind myself that like time heals and it'll be over. Tomorrow's gonna be a better day.
Going to prayer. I really use other people around me. I'm a really social guy, so having others talk to me and talk through it with me helps me a lot. So I know when other people are sad and I help them out, it makes me feel good. So even if I'm feeling bad, just the fact that other people can feel good helping me out too and help me feel better, talking through it makes me feel good. So.
I like to reach out to like friends and family a lot to kind of like, I guess, process whatever is going on, and just having people around for support I think is a really big thing and really helpful.
Lately I've been writing and illustrating, and I pray and meditate.
Talk to people about it. Talk to my wife about it, talk to my friends about it, talk to a therapist about it, all that stuff. Kind of just have a good support system, I guess.
Ooh, God.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm supposed to use that, but I'm 100% like believer that if you just pray, if you just seek God, you will find it. And then I feel like whenever I'm in a situation like that, when I do it, I can completely feel like a different energy. Just feel like that's just like my medicine, basically.
I think for me, when I feel sad, I tend to maybe get a little bit more introspective. So I journal a lot. And for me, spending time with the Lord when I'm sad looks like pulling my journal out and trying to figure out why I'm sad. So like if I'm in a situation and I'm feeling sad, I'll sit down and I'll journal and be like, this is what I think I'm sad about. And I'll start dissecting that one situation and kind of breaking it down more and more and more and more, down to the actual reason that I feel sad. But I think sometimes in our life when we feel sad or depressed, or there's a discontent in our spirit and we can't quite put our finger on it, one of the best things that we can do is actually sit and try to figure out what it is that's eating at us. If I was sitting across from these people, what I would say is that it's actually okay to just be sad. it's actually okay to just sit in a bit of weakness. And that's not a weakness in and of itself. Like, that's actually a strength to be able to sit in our sadness and be okay. But there is a God that loves them, and that there's a God who wants to be that comfort for them and wants to be that encouragement for them, far more than a friend can offer or the universe can offer. There's a God that on a deep, deep level, literally the one who made and knows your soul, knows how you work, knows how you tick, knows how to give you the truest comfort. To someone who maybe has an adverse reaction to the biblical answer or like a biblical response to sadness, I would say the same thing. I would say that you matter a whole lot and that you're important, and that even if maybe we don't approach this from the same vantage point, if you can't maybe acknowledge that the Bible's true or that God's true or anything like that, all I can do is try to be a picture of what I believe Jesus is, and just tell you that you're important and tell you that you do matter and that it actually is going to be okay. I think that that's all we can do, you know? I try to think about the relationships that I have. So I worked in a tattoo shop for a while, and I was the only Christian in the whole tattoo shop. And we went through some pretty deep moments of grief. One of the guys in the shop took his own life, and the guys called on me to lead them through grief counseling. So I brought in a buddy, and we talked him through grief counseling and just acknowledged the reality of grief and sadness and hurt and pain. And we walked through that. And then I just told him that, hey, I love you and I'm here, and there's someone that is here for you. You know, I'll pray with you. I'll just encourage you. I'll hug you, whatever you need. And then that relationship led to them asking me to lead the funeral. And so I got to share and encourage people there too. And I still have great relationships with all those guys at the shop. And most of those guys don't believe in God at all, or any type of, they have no belief in anything higher above. But I think in those relationships and in those dynamics, all you can do, if you're a Christian and you're trying to encourage someone who maybe doesn't see things that way, all we can do is just be Jesus to them and just encourage them and not force it. You know, it's like trying to convince someone. It's the best way to say it. Yeah. I mean, from their vantage point, you're trying to convince them that there's this cosmic doctor that they've never seen before can come and fix their ailment, which seems outlandish to someone who maybe doesn't have faith that that's real. So all we can do is just be that for them. That's the best thing we can do. So.